those other employers that gathered, those CEOs, I mean, as a president that was only here 2 years at that time, to get that number of individuals, the C-suite levels in a room, I don't know that I could have done it without that key employer.
Welcome to The Hidden Gem, your go-to podcast that shines a spotlight on the strategic role of marketing and communications in shaping the future of community colleges. I'm your host, Maya Demishkevich, CMO at Carroll Community College. Every week, I sit down with community college leaders and industry experts to unpack strategies that work. We'll discuss practical insights and success stories to help you elevate your institution's profile and achieve your strategic goals. Tune in to amplify your community college's success, one conversation at a time. The Hidden Gem is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. And let's get started. Welcome back to the Hidden Gem podcast. Today, I am excited to have Dr. Marsha Danielson, president of Minnesota State College Southeast, on the show. Welcome, Dr. Danielson.
Thank you, Maya.
I am honestly so glad I got a chance to meet you at the CASE conference in Baltimore this fall because I got a chance to learn about all the incredible work you are doing at your institution, and now we can have this discussion and share some of your projects with our listeners. So it was meant to be, I think.
Yes.
So, we all know that one of the biggest barriers to college education is the cost, especially for underemployed adults and students who are looking to skill up for better opportunities. And at the same time, we know that employers are struggling to find qualified workers. So it's two sides of the same coin. How do we help students afford the training, and how we can also help local businesses fill this critical gap and critical jobs? And I think, Dr. Danielson, you found an incredible way to bridge this gap. Not only it benefits students, but it also employees, employers, and the entire community. So I can't wait to dive into this and learn about the Career Opportunity Program, which I understand is very successful. So I would love to start by asking you to explain it to us. What is this program about, and how did you get local employers involved in funding it?
Yeah. Well, the College Opportunity Program is now in its second full year, so it'll be completed after the spring semester, the second year. And it's what they call a last dollar tuition and fee support program for students. Our particular program benefits 5 area high schools. So if a student lives in Winona County and they graduate from one of those 5 area high schools, they are eligible for 70 credits of free tuition and fees at our college, which is called Minnesota State College Southeast. We're in southeast Minnesota, 2 campuses, one in Winona, Minnesota, and one in Red Wing, Minnesota. So we have about 2,700 students, and we are a 2-year institution, which is both community and technical college. So the College Opportunity Program is really designed at its heart. It's designed, and a lot of people are surprised to hear this, that over 40% of students who graduate from high school still in our nation are not going on for any additional education or training. And in our community, it's actually 50%. So the goal of the program was really to incentivize our students and help them, as you had said, Maya, because the largest barrier usually is financial. So it's from a business perspective, it's about adding more talent to the pipeline rather than having our businesses offer another 25 cents or a signing bonus or a referral bonus, whatever that might be. We talked about how can we expand the pool of talent coming in rather than just, stealing from one from another. So that's a little bit of about the college opportunity program. It really gives students an opportunity. And I personally have a passion for equity. And this program is it's an equity initiative, really. So that tells you a little bit about it.
Right. So that's the goal of the program. But I think how you structured it and how you got local employers involved is what makes it unique. I think we see a lot of outreach to local employers where the college might go and work with them on developing education reimbursement program individually, one on
Yeah.
one. But in your case, you took a very different approach. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, yes. So the first thing I did was I approached the largest employer in our community, in our region, and it happens to be an international company because I saw this person as a key influencer in our community and I wanted that person as my partner. So I invited this largest employer to consider this initiative and he loved it. And so from there, he invited the 20 largest employers beyond himself, his peers, to a dinner meeting that he sponsored at his company. So when you get invited to the largest employers, they just happen to have built a brand new building. So it was an added incentive. And so we held a meeting and he was prepared at that meeting to say, I support this idea and I'm committed to making this amount of a gift. And he said, but I want other employers to be along. So that was a key part of that. And then from that, I did the follow up and conducted one on one meetings with all those CEO partner prospects. And the other thing I think that was key for us, Maya, is that he from the start said, I don't care. I need to know this is a community initiative. So I don't care if you give $10,000 a year for 3 years, it was a 3-year pilot, or whatever the amount. When we promote the investors in this program, we're never gonna divulge the value of anyone's gift, and that has been maintained.
People who were invited, the organizations and businesses, they have bought into this mission, into this program, and they made a donation that you are using to pay as a last dollar scholarship to students coming in, right?
Exactly. So we're requiring all students to file for federal financial aid, the FAFSA. And once they are eligible for financial aid and that kicks in, then the investors pick up any kind of gap in funding that's there for tuition and fees. Plus, they added an additional stipend of $1,000, so $500 a year for 2 years.
Hmm. Well, that's great. So, beyond securing this initial commitment from those organizations, how do you keep those partners engaged and invested in this program?
We really have worked to make sure that we keep them informed. And so once a semester, we have a meeting with the investors and we give them an update on the metrics for the program. We talk about the impact that it's had on the students. We just keep them involved. And then other things that we have done is we have held events specifically for the College Opportunity Program students to have exclusive opportunities for investors to meet those students. So we've done a reverse job fair. We are just going to do in the end of February here a speed networking event.
That sounds
Uh,
fun.
yeah, I'm excited about it. We haven't
Yeah.
done it before. But then also just in general, inviting them to events and activities at the campus so that they continue to feel the excitement of higher ed and the fact that we're all working together to bring more talent into the community from an economic development perspective.
Hmm. And I'm glad to see that this program is continuing, right? It's a second year, you said. What are some of the metrics and maybe successes that you have seen so far?
Well, we really exceeded expectations. So, one of the things that we did was we looked at other programs. There actually are 350 promise programs in the nation. One other in Minnesota, the Hormel Foundation sponsors the Austin Assurance Program. So we thought, being in the same region, that we could really use some of their metrics as a guide. And so their first year, they had 20% of the graduating class from their high schools participate. So that's the metric that we used. Well, we far exceeded that. Our first year, we had 35% of the area high schools that came and took advantage of this program. And, also just, and that continues to rise. The other thing that was surprise, and when you talk about challenges that we've had, I think the toughest thing with this program is trying to estimate costs, right? And so we made the estimate on 20%. Well, we were at 35%. So obviously there was far more need for revenue than we had projected. But additionally, retention. We had thought that retention would be at about similar to what we have at our college, and indeed it exceeded it by 12%. So those are kind of the challenges. It's good problems to have, but those are a couple of the challenges that we had. And then just in general, we had thought that about 70% of our students would be eligible for aid. Well, actually, 70% is what the Austin Albert Lee area was. So we pulled it back and thought maybe about 60%. Well, indeed, it's just a little bit over 40%. So those are some of the things that once you get into it, you don't know until you really kind of have your first year, and you can adapt from there.
Mm-hmm. Are you continue expanding this program and invited more and more partners to participate?
Yes, yes. It was a 3-year pilot. And at our investors meeting last November, the investors are so pleased with the program that we came out of that meeting with about 3/4 of the dollars that we anticipate that we'll need already raised. And then, of course, there's one business in the community that's transitioning ownership. And so we have to wait until that happens. And so it's a constant, but I'm happy to say that we have 2 new investors that I've secured already at this point for the renewal program.
Mm-hmm. And what is your vision going forward for this program?
Yeah, it really is about expanding the program. And it actually was the original vision for the program, is that we would start with the Winona area, which is basically Winona County. But because we are a smaller community and we're surrounded by small rural towns, they are feeder systems. There's about 12 rural towns that provide talent into our much larger community here. And so it's been a conversation from the beginning that we would look to partner with the employers in those communities, and the Winona area investors would help with the financial component of it, maybe a 50-50 split or something like that. So that expansion is definitely to those surrounding communities is one of the visions that we have. And then just continued enrollment growth and support for our students. One other thing we've talked about is near completers, because in everything, life happens. And so we have some students that got really close, maybe within 10, 15 credits, and didn't make it. And the investors are saying, we got them 3/4 of the way there. Maybe what we should do is go back and say, if we incentivize you, would you come back and complete your education?
Mm-hmm. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I hope it all happens and you continue growing this program. I know many community colleges are looking for ways to engage more industry partners. It's not always easy, but it's one of the goals because we are providing workforce to support those organizations. So obviously, we want to partner and make sure they receive what they need. In your experience, what are some of the suggestions you have for colleges who want to engage those partners? Do you have any advice on launching similar programs or maybe elevating this community impact?
Yes, the key thing that really helped us was getting that key influencer involved. Somebody that's highly respected in the community, has a lot of influence with other peers. And, by approaching that largest employer to be my partner, that was something that those other employers that gathered, those CEOs, I mean, as a president that was only here 2 years at that time, to get that number of individuals, the C-suite levels in a room, I don't know that I could have done it without that key employer. So I think that's really important. And then, as you mentioned, Maya, how you keep those funders engaged. That's really part of it. I've done things with partners for a long time, and I remember one specific time that I came back to everyone who helped fund something and gave them all the information. And one of the key, it was a hospital administrator. He said, we give a lot of money away, and you were the only person this year that came back and told me what you did with it. So
Yeah.
I think that's really important to share your metrics and also tell the story of those students, because everyone, even though this is a talent development initiative, everyone still wants to feel good about changing lives and helping change the future of these families and this community. And so you have to tell that story.
hmm Were you able to maybe secure additional publicity because of this program?
Our local media, social media, all of that, the peer-to-peer stories that are being told out there by C-suite individuals about what we're doing at this campus. K-12 is so excited about it, so they're talking about it to parents. We're helping individuals, we're helping the high school. This partnership is helping businesses and ultimately the community. And boy, there's hardly a room I'll walk into that somebody doesn't talk about how incredible this is.
That's amazing. There's a lot of discussion right now about influencer marketing, right? And this is taking influencer marketing to the next level, to the fundraising level. I think it's so clever to get influencers involved because they already have a circle of influence and they can help you if they buy into your idea to help you make it a reality, which exactly what happens in your case.
And it's really, it goes back to that WIFM. We all learned it, right? What's in it for me? And,
Yeah.
what we really talked about was this as a value, because they're investing 60 cents on the dollar to get more employees. And we all know, we see the news, we talk to people, we know how much employers are spending to try and fill that gap that they have of employees right now. So this was a business decision that was, kind of the marketing there was part of the business benefit to doing this. So it's really a combination of marketing strategy as well as fundraising and economic development.
Right. And I do think that marketing is not about selling, it is about showing that benefit and explaining why they should be investing in this idea. And I think having the background in marketing communication really maybe helped in this case. I don't
I
know.
really I really think it did, because, the idea really sells itself. It's more about presenting the business case for this, and again, how it will benefit those employers and the community, because employers are here and they want the community to be strong. So,
hmm hmm
mhm.
I think this is a great case study, great example. I hope other listeners gain something from this that they can take back to their institution. Anything else you would like to share that I didn't ask you about?
No, I just would, I'm happy to say that I'm at Minnesota State College Southeast, Marsha Danielson, president. So if anybody else wants to wade into these types of waters and they just want to have a conversation or something, I'm really happy to help.
Thank you so much, Dr. Danielson. It was so insightful, and I appreciate you finding the time to share your story and share one of the initiatives that you've been working on.
Thank you, Maya, for the opportunity.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it valuable. Let's keep this conversation going on LinkedIn at Maya Demishkevich. I would love to hear your thoughts, questions, and suggestions for what you would like to see next on this podcast. Remember, by tuning in to The Hidden Gem, you're not just listening to a podcast, you are joining a movement of amplifying community colleges' success. Don't miss out. Subscribe to this podcast and notifications about our future episodes. Share it with your colleagues and college leaders to help make our colleges stand out. Together, let's make an impact. The Hidden Gem is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you will like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month. And we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher education technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions professionals find their next big idea and feature selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Jamie Hunt, Jenny Fowler, Eddie Francis, Brian Gross, and so many other of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.